Weird science is the revolution.
Hello, all you weirdos. Jim here, and it's not really breaking news, but you know me, I can't help it. Breaking news. This is news about Blade. There's a new Blade book coming out of the whole Blood Hunt event. I think that this doesn't spoil things, but if you are really, really afraid of spoilers with the whole Blood Hunt, maybe you should just kind of, step aside from this one. Like I said, I don't think it really spoils anything except that, hey, there's going to be a Blade series after Blood Hunt, and things are crazy, right? Things are bloody. Things are red band crazy indeed, because the whole headline here from the official Marvel news item that came over the wire. I need a sound effect for the wire. Something from maybe the wire. But this is the headline. New Blade Red Band comic book series brings a bloody new dawn for the Daywalker. And this will be a series that's a 5-issue miniseries. It'll be coming out in October. It's one of those things, though, is Blood Hunt. Are people enjoying it? Are people really reading it? I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. There's a ton of books. I have seen some people actually say, hey, I like this book in the Blood Hunt. Not many people are saying to me anymore of, oh, I really like the main book, and that's all I'm reading. A lot of people have already picked tie-ins that they like the most and are just going with those, whether it be the Blood Hunters or I like the Wolverine tie-in, and I also do like Jed McKay's Avengers tie-in as well, more than I do like the main book. But I'll probably have a video kind of asking people, are you enjoying Blood Hunt? But we'll get to that sometime later, because again, this is still a news item where we're going to get a new Blade book. And I think there will be people out there that read Brian Hill's Blade series, the one that ended up ending right before Blood Hunt. And I enjoyed it for the first 4 or 5 issues. The whole Adana story was kind of cool, but you can't tell me that it wasn't stretched out at a point. You can't tell me that at one point, when Marvel figured out, okay, we're going to be doing this Blood Hunt, obviously, vampires, we're going to need Blade involved, and then Blade becomes the big bad. They kind of wanted the whole play with Brian Hill is just to use that book then, stretch out the Adana story to set up Blade getting the powers of Dracula. That seemed to be the big springboard into what was and is still Blood Hunt. And I am looking forward to seeing Brian Hill write a book that is just him writing a Blade book with a big story, especially coming out of Blood Hunt. Let's see how that ends, and let's see what that leads into with it. I like Brian Hill. I think he's a good writer. I think he's a great guy, and I have talked to him at points. I talked to him at points when I gave some of his issues not great reviews, and I don't think writers understand how big it can be where a writer, if you give a bad review, it's fine. Anybody can pat somebody on the back for giving them a good review. But there's few and far between the writers that I have dealt with that have actually got a hold of me and wanted to just talk about the review. And not in a way of them trying to convince me that I'm wrong, but actually feeling like they wanted to understand what I was saying in the review, and maybe even saying, you know what, I didn't think of it that way. Thank you. At one point, we were talking about a bunch of different things back in his DC deal, and he ended up saying, some of the things I realized, okay, I see what you were doing there, but then he'd say, yeah, it didn't really play out as well, but some ideas back and forth, and he was it seemed appreciative of talking to somebody and not fighting. And again, you go on YouTube, I can find a million videos. I could find some here on my channel where you're just yelling about somebody or somebody's done this or why you shouldn't read that. I take more credence in the idea of the people that are nice guys, gals, anything that I'll follow them. I'll read. Brian Hill has earned with me, just being a nice guy, has earned that I will check out anything he does. And if I don't like it, yeah, I may drop it, but I will always check out what he does. Another writer in that ilk is Jeremy Adams. Another writer that is Philip Kennedy Johnson. These people were always nice to me, and not even me. I see people online and they're very respectful and nice to them. Of course, I'll probably get somebody commenting of how awful some of these people were to people, whatever. But again, that's just me setting this up that I will be supporting this book, and I hope others do, even though I do think that it is kind of a gimmick. The whole Red Band comic thing, I think, is a bit gimmicky for me, but we will go into it right now. A new dawn breaks for the Daywalker after being at the center of the world's greatest threat and Marvel's bloodiest event to date. I guess it was bloody, right? Blood Hunt. It's called Blood Hunt. I would hope it's bloody. Blade's future will run red in his very own Red Band comic book series. As I said, that really doesn't do much for me. It's usually, a couple vicious kills, whatnot. It's kind of cool, but it's not something that I want to have. Like, that's the main reason why they want people to get the book. But I like Brian Hill. There you go. This October, writer Brian Hill, Ultimate Black Panther, returns the iconic character with Marvel's Stormbreaker artist C.F. Villa, Avengers, it says, to launch an all-new Blade Red Band limited series. As I said, it's a 5-issue classic Marvel series. And when I see Red Band, I think of all my favorite Red Bands, like Red Hot Chili Peppers, Simply Red, not a big fan, but Simply Red, Red Rover, what is that? Red Rider. I think they did Lunatic Fringe, if I'm not mistaken. And then we'll veer away, like King Crimson. Does that count? Crimson. And then Wild Cherry, very mature. Those guys. I actually met the guitarist from Wild Cherry. Again, a nice guy. I would follow everything that Wild Cherry did. They're not really doing much anymore. For years, Blade has been the deadliest vampire hunter in the Marvel Universe, with an arsenal of wooden stakes, silver bullets, and razor bats at his command. Also a cool-ass fade and a sassy attitude. That's why I really like Blade's sassy attitude. Few have known the taste of vengeance of blood like Blade, but after the harrowing events of Blood Hunt, what's left of Marvel's most infamous vampire? I don't know. We'll have to see. They're going to this could verge on a bit of, not spoilers. Here we go. Did any of the vampire within Blade survive? Did any of the man? I'm not sure. Find out here at the skin-searing dawn of a bloody new Blade saga. When I first heard this was coming out, I actually was afraid that this was going to be a book where Blade is just on the run. He doesn't want to pay child support for Bloodline, his daughter. No, that wouldn't be fun. Maybe. But it continues on, and it's going to push this Red Band stuff, labeled with a parental advisory and polybag to keep those weak of heart from experiencing its intensity. It would have a funny thing on the cover. It's people over this age and pregnant ladies should never look at this book. Don't look at this book. It'll blow your mind. It'll bring visceral vampiric violence to the page like you've never seen before. Stay tuned for more details. And there is the cover, obviously, that I've been playing on this video. Pretty vicious. I mean, that is a crazy deal. Though I think that's Dr. Blade, who's doing a brain scan, maybe. No, he's not. He's slicing and dicing, just like a sassy attitude Blade should be doing. Though I do like his hair. The fade is gone. He's got sort of a start of an afro, and I like it. I like that look. Okay, pretty cool. But that's that. That is it for the story. Let me know if you're looking forward to this book, if you're looking forward to the end of Blood Hunt, if you're liking Blood Hunt, or also if you wanted to know exactly what my kids were yelling downstairs when I ended this, because they come in, I don't know, like a sassy attitude themselves. They just come busting and screaming. I don't get it, but that's it. Thanks, everybody. And I'll be back, as I said, with some videos about Blood Hunt itself and also some other Marvel things and DC stuff as well. So thanks a lot, and I will talk to you all later.
Weird science is the revolution.